Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks Podcast, episode 33. I am your host, Frantic J3, along with my lovely, as always, co-host.
Grunt, who wasn't here a
And
minute ago.
who wasn't here a minute ago. We're here to talk about video games.
And junk.
And junk. Okay, so, this is actually our second recording within the past 5 minutes, because for some reason, we started streaming, and then it just decided to not recognize Skype existed anymore. And so I lost Grunt. Visually, he was still there being recorded, so that was really funny. Anyways, sorry if you missed the episode, or if you were sad that there was no episode last week. I apologize. Turns out July is a very busy month, apparently. But 2 weeks from now there will not be an episode, but next week there will be, and then we should be back to normal. Just family stuff is basically all it is. So, anyways, that being said, Grunt, how was your past 2 weeks?
Pretty uneventful. This is weird sense of deja vu right now.
A little bit.
I mentioned it on the last episode. I've been cleaning my room, trying to get a nice fancy workspace for me. Maybe I'll actually get more articles out for us.
I'm in the same boat, hopefully.
But that's been kind of fun because I found a lot of stuff from my childhood, which is like, oh wow, I totally forgot I had that.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the other day I found a stack. It's probably more about like that thick.
Okay.
Of research I did for an old school project, and it's like, wow, I totally forgot about that.
What was the project on, or do you not want to say?
It was back around the time of the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster, when they were talking about shutting down the NASA and all of their projects and everything, basically closing NASA.
Right.
Down back then, and I wrote a nice expository essay as to why they shouldn't do that. So it was a fun project to create, basically, because I had fancy little PowerPoint, and everything went with it. The sad thing is the actual essay itself I can't find anywhere. It's gone. All my research is here, but the essay itself is gone.
That's heartbreaking.
Which kind of sucks.
Well, you can just rewrite it. Good practice.
I could do that. I got all the research and everything, so yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, you could. So anything else happened beyond that? I mean, playing any new games or watching anything new?
Well, not really new games. I've been playing, what game meantime I've managed to work in has been mostly, Destiny, a little bit of Halo 5 Firefight, Warzone Firefight, Just Cause 3, or it's been the Master Chief Collection, because our friend Freakshow, who gets named quite often, decided to convince me to run through all of the Halo games on Legendary difficulty.
Which is a great idea if you haven't tried that already.
Oh, no. No, it's not.
I'm shaking my head no.
No. No, don't ever do that.
Don't do it. Halo 2 especially is just god-awful. I don't know why it's so hard, but it just is ridiculously hard.
It is.
I know, I've tried.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's been fun. We're up to Halo 2 now. Our impasse is we go to load the game up through, the Halo 2 anniversary lobby, and both of us get stuck in an infinite loading screen. You and I had this happen when the game was really broke back then, so it's kind of disappointing to see that. We can get the Halo 2 Legendary Campaign playlist to work, but in order for that to count, we have to complete it in one sitting, and I cannot sit all day and play a game.
No, that's something I can't even do.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be able to, but I can't anymore. I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah. So, if, in about a month I have no hair, I pulled my hair out because of Halo 2 on Legendary.
Well, it's not because you're like 30.
I mean, I hope I wouldn't age like 7 years in 2 months. Ugh.
It'd be a little weird.
It would be.
Reverse Benjamin Button. Not even that. He aged normally. It was just reverse.
Right.
Interesting.
Speaking of time travel, Game of Thrones. That's something I've started watching, actually.
What does that have to do with time travel?
I don't know.
No offense. I'm just curious.
I don't know. The fact it's in a,
it's in a different time period.
Time period.
Yeah. I mean, it's also probably in a different, parallel universe.
It's true.
True.
True. Also true.
But yeah, you're watching that now. Or at least
Yep.
you started it.
Yes, I've only caught the first 2 episodes of it, because the way Netflix breaks everything out, or the way they do on DVD, whatever, it's irrelevant. It's enjoyable so far. I'm curious to see how the storylines play out for the characters and overall and everything.
Gotcha.
Also, the Lannister family sucks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do you at least like Tyrion, the imp, the midget?
You mean Dinklebot?
Yeah, Dinklage. I'm just trying to get you to remember names. Do you like him?
He's okay so far. He gets the free pass.
Everybody loves him.
And
well, I love him, but
yeah, he gets the free pass for now. We'll see if that changes, later on when I've had the chance to watch more of it.
So, what do you know about the show beyond what you've seen? Like, in terms of what you've learned about from the internet, probably, I'd say.
Well, basically, it's one... from what it sounds like the one family, like, right-hand henchman to the king was killed off by the king's family.
I mean, there was the Mad King, and he got killed by Kingslayer, which is Jaime Lannister.
So,
and that's how the Baratheons took over. I don't remember exactly because I've only seen the first season once, but I know that for sure. Jaime Lannister killed the Mad King, which was he was a Targaryen. I just don't remember his name. He was just nuts.
yeah,
But I think you're on the right track.
yeah, that's what I've gathered so far. Oh god, I can't think of the one guy from the other family. The king's family, the royal family, whatever, meets up in like the first episode.
Oh, the Starks meet the Baratheons, or at least they meet up.
Yes, the Stark family. Their kid was put in a coma because he was knocked off of the tower. Don't go climbing. Pro tip, by the way.
Yeah, don't go climbing. Just don't do that, guys. Also, this is like spoilers for season 1, like episode 1, so I don't know if it's... I mean, I guess we should technically say spoilers, but it's not like...
Well, I mean, to those that haven't watched it yet, yeah.
By the way, that happens. Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. Just, skip forward like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 2 or 3 minutes. You should be fine.
But yeah.
I don't know what you know about the show. There's a lot of, I don't want to say memes, but there are a lot of things that once certain things in the show start happening, it's kind of like, okay, I wish I would have known this from the get-go.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't want to say those things because I'd rather you just enjoy it without knowing anything beyond what you know now, which is how I experienced it. So
yeah, so I'm anxious to, like I said, to finish the first season of it and see how it goes from there, how it progresses storyline-wise. See which characters I end up hating, and if I'm the odd person out that is like the most loved character of the series now, and who am I kidding? They're probably dead.
okay, so people die. That's a good thing to start with.
Lots of people die.
Oh yeah, you're in for a treat there. Anyways,
but that's
I don't want to say who's still alive from like the first couple episodes, but I can't think of who like the most favorite character would be. That would be telling you who's still alive technically, but anyways. Don't send him spoilers, guys. That would be very rude of you. I know the internet likes to do that for some godforsaken reason.
No spoilers.
Please don't do that.
Let me enjoy it.
I guess I could probably talk about my my week.
Have you caught any good Pokemon?
Have I caught any good Pokemon? I am level 18. I mean, I have yet to get anything over a level 1,000 yet, but I have learned some things about the game. So I've been playing PokemonGO the past 2 weeks, if you haven't picked up on that. If you don't know what PokemonGO is and you've been living under a rock somehow, I mean, it has more active users than Twitter. So if you don't know what it is, I'm extremely surprised. But to give a quick rundown, it's a game where you catch Pokemon on your phone by going places. So, like, I can go walk downtown right now, and Pokemon will show up in downtown, and I catch them via augmented reality on my phone right here. He uses GPS. There's this game called Ingress, which is it reskinned it and made it fit for Pokemon. Ingress was like a geolocation territory game. It's the same idea, but you're catching Pokemon. Like I said, more active users than Twitter. It's kind of stupid how many people are on this game, but it's amazing. I've gone to so many parks and just seen people walking around and socializing and talking about Pokemon that it's been one of the most uplifting things I have ever truly seen in my life. I've made a...
Yeah.
I've made a few new friends in the past 2 weeks that I never even would have known without this game. It's been really awesome. Um, the level cap. Okay, so things I know about the game. This is going to be potentially spoiling the game for some people. So if you don't want to hear what was leaked about the game, I don't know too much about it that I didn't want to get into like really in-depth stuff, but I do know a few things. So if you don't want to hear anything beyond just playing the game, you probably want to skip forward about 5 or 6 minutes here. But basically, there's a way you can get certain EV evolutions if you nickname them, and it's based off of the anime. So there was an episode of the anime when they learned about the EV evolutions. So if you don't know them, it's Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. So fire, water, and electric, not respectively because I mixed them up. But either way, EV evolves into one of those three things. In the Pokemon game, you'd need a certain stone, and you could just kind of pick. Well, it seemed to be random in this game. Well, someone figured out that if you nicknamed them off of the trainers who had each one in the anime, so there was this trainer named Pyro, he had a Flareon, there was Sparky, who had a Jolteon, and then Rainer had a Vaporeon. If you nickname your Eevee that, you'll get that one. So that was interesting to find out. It was really cool. So now I have a Jolteon. I was like, fuck yeah, I love Jolteon. About damn time. Because I already had 2 Vaporeons before that, and I was just like, I don't want to keep rolling the dice. This takes forever.
Fine, I'll just nickname him this and bam.
But if you don't care which one you get beyond the initial first one, so like say you want to keep evolving Eevees and you want to have a higher level Eevee than what you have now, what would be the best pick? Vaporeon is the best pick because the multiplier on it is fucking stupid. Just to give you an idea, a level 390 Eevee will evolve into a 1000 plus level Vaporeon or like an 800 Jolteon. That's how big of a gap is between them at the same fucking level. It is stupid. But it's because in the video game, Jolteon's like super good and broken, and Flareon just kind of exists. Let's be real here.
Nerf Jolteon, please.
But Vaporeon is just freaking god mode. So that's why if you like go to a gym, you typically see just a bunch of Vaporeons because it's like that's the easiest one to get a high level of. Beyond that, stuff I've learned is IVs do exist in this game. If you don't know what IVs are, this is really in-depth Pokemon stuff, and I will only hit on the surface. If you want to talk to me more about this stuff, I love it. But essentially, IVs in Pokemon are, so say I catch a level, in like the actual video game, so say I catch a level 10, I don't know, Pidgey, and then I catch another level 10 Pidgey. Most would think they're exactly the same, right? Barring if you knew about what a nature is or if you knew EV training. But on a surface level, 2 level 10 Pidgeys are typically the same, at least to most people. Well, IVs, think of them as genes. So Grunt and I are both age 23, right? But we look drastically different. So that's kind of how Pokemon works. If you get 2 level 10 Pidgeys, they're probably a lot different than they seem. IVs are their stats, and it ranges from 1 to 31. So essentially, if I have and it's in each one, so your attack, your defense, your special attack, your speed, and your hit points all have a 1 to 31 ranking, 31 being the best, 1 being the worst. So that means if you catch a Pidgey at level 10 and it has, 12 hit points, and then you catch another one and it has a 13 hit points, its hit point IV is better. And that's how you can determine like how to max out certain stats. It's like my level 100 dude can only be as good as his IVs allow him. So with that brief overview, and not telling you how you can determine these things and go crazy with breeding, they have kind of been implemented into the video game of PokemonGO. So there's, I think it's just attack, defense, and stamina are the only 3 stats in this one. But each one is randomly generated, and that determines your combat power, which is like that 300 I mentioned a minute ago. So those determine how powerful your certain dude will be. So IVs do exist, which, if it stays true to the video game, does mean that if we roll it right, or if they add the feature, we can have shinies, because shinies are determined by their IV roll. And I'm fucking stoked for that if that happens. So, beyond that, there are multipliers that can determine what your combat power of your dude will be, because you don't know your IVs. There's no way to tell right now. You can just see my 390 whatever is higher than your 390 whatever. But there are calculators that already exist, because someone hacked into the game and found like all this stuff out. And there are 6 Pokemon that you can't get yet. Yeah, I think it's 6. It's the 3 legendary birds, so you can't get Moltres, Articuno, or Zapdos yet. You can't get Mewtwo, you can't get Mew, and I think Ditto is the other one you can't get. And then they found out that there were a few other Pokemon that were region-specific. So like my region has Tauros, which is like a bull, but Farfetch'd is in like a different region. I don't know where. Maybe south. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that. I think the UK, don't quote me on this, gets like Mr. Mime or something like that.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I want a Mr. Mime. So, yeah. Then They're also planning on what I've
Go to
heard
UK.
releasing.
Summer
Yeah, exactly.
vacation.
Let me just go take a quick vacation to the UK, guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
Uh,
See you in a month or two.
yeah, right. I believe they've said they're going to be implementing trading, hopefully battles, and they will be bringing second gen Pokemon soon. I heard Christmas is the date. I hope it is way earlier than that. But that is things I've heard tentatively coming. Trading will be cool because then I can trade with somebody who's in fucking Europe, hopefully. If they do Wonder Trade style stuff, which Wonder Trade in the video games is you just connect to the internet and can trade with anybody around the world. I imagine it's going to be more proximity trading, so it's not like we're going to get anything crazy out of it beyond, oh, I haven't caught a freaking Charizard yet, trade it to me real quick and I'll have my Pokedex complete. But that's essentially where I see it. I know a lot more about the game if you want to talk more about that. I don't want to spend the next like half hour talking about this game that Grunt hasn't even played yet, but
I can't play it. I've tried to get it to work, and it will not work for me. No.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
I can tell you, there's a parking lot across from my house that looks like it has, all kinds of fancy Pokemon Pokestops or, lures probably is what it is.
Yeah, if you don't know, Pokestops is where you can get your resources. So you spin a Pokestop, you get Pokeballs or potions or whatever, and it takes roughly 5 minutes to refresh. But you can lure a Pokestop, which brings Pokemon to the stop, and you can kind of just like get more rare Pokemon sometimes.
Yeah.
And that'll last for a half hour.
Yeah. Because until we got this heat wave that's been over us this past week, there was all kinds of people walking throughout the day, and even to the middle of the night, like 2, 3 in the morning, with their phones out, just scanning the area. So there's something up there. And I can't find out.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying.
Well, speaking of walking, I want to say easily I've walked probably 10 miles in the past 2 weeks, which is amazing compared to the 0 I was walking before. So that's a significant increase in my amount of time spent outside.
You mean
which is
actually go outside?
Yeah, it's a statement to what this game has done, is it's caused people to go outside and actually move around and not sit inside like your stereotypical gamer. So I praise it for that. And to anybody who's talking crap about it, I don't know how you can and actually mean it beyond just hating things you aren't a part of. Like, I legitimately don't understand that.
The Dragon Ball Z fans.
I'm a DBZ fan. That's not...
Yeah, but you're one of the rare occurrences where you believe you can like one thing and the other, not one or the other.
No, it's just I don't understand how people can be hating on it. It's like I shared a picture on Facebook the other day, and it summarized it perfectly. It was just like it was 2 quoted statements, but it's not anyone in particular. It was just kind of like it was kind of like explaining the situation. It was a meta joke, but it was like, nerds need to go outside. No, not like that. It's like, what the hell do you want from us?
That's great.
Oh man. So yeah, but speaking of walking, I do want to make this point because I have been doing it and it is amazing. There is an app, and I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I don't think I knew about it last time, but there's an app called Charity Miles, and there are other apps like this. I'm gonna hold it up to the screen here, see if I can get a little bit of it. Is it working? Okay. So I mean, this only shows so much on the screen here, but basically this is a app that you have on in the background. You start it up. You pick a charity, any charity you want. I mean, there's a shit ton on here. Just to go off the list, there's the Multiple Sclerosis Society, Stand Up to Cancer, Habitat for Humanity, World Wildlife Foundation, Girl Up, Alzheimer's, all kinds of stuff. Charities, people who do good things for people or nature. You pick one, and then for every mile you walk, it'll donate a quarter, and you just run it in the background. And it'll obviously, if you walk like a mile and a half, it'll donate 37.5 cents or whatever it is. It doesn't actually tell you how much it donates unless you read the terms, but I read the terms, so I had that information for people who asked. But yeah, it'll track how far you walk, and I've usually walked 5 miles with that on because I didn't find out about it till like last week, and the week before I'd probably walked roughly 5 miles or so. So
yeah, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, and it's a great way to, and there's a couple other apps just like it, but it's a very good way to give your Pokemon hunting even more meaning. And all the things that have come out of this game, I'm absolutely in love with. So, not only is there gang warfare essentially, and in the lightest way possible, just saying, there's like gang warfare. There's been all these like kids who are just going out and having fun with older people. I've seen multiple pictures of kids who go to like a park and just set up like a stand for helping other people. So like for instance, one picture I saw, this little girl just had like a table that she put a cloth over, and then had 3 the three colors of the team, so red, blue, and yellow.
Yellow.
And then she just had a PokemonGO swag, and it was like light up stuff. So that way you have like like if you go to a 4th of July thing, and they're selling like the little neon strips or whatever.
Oh yeah.
They'd have those so that way you can see each other in the dark. And some of them were just like giving out lemonade and stuff. And it's just these kids who are just having fun, providing other people with resources to just be outside and play this game. So that's been really cool. But I want to mention the gang warfare because it's so fucking hilarious that I can't get over it. And I'll try to use something different than gang warfare because it sounds really bad when it's really not. There's 3 teams in the game. There's Mystic, there's Valor, and then there's Instinct. Each for one of the original legendary birds, right? So there's this comic that sums it up perfectly, but essentially you either are not on a team or you hate the other teams. There's no in between. And it's not like you legitimately hate them. I think everybody gets it that it's just a joke. But it's just like, fuck you, essentially. There's this comic where this guy is walking around, and then he looks on the ground and says, oh, what's this? And he picks up a Team Valor flag. He says, oh, what is this? And then another guy walks by with a Team Mystic flag and says, hi. And he just goes, yeah, fuck that guy. It's like, that's exactly what this whole situation is.
Oh my god.
It's just like, fuck that guy. I don't know. He's not red. He's blue. That's
right.
the best way to put it. Oh man. And there's other recurring gags like Team Instinct Yellow Team was like small to begin with because no one picked yellow for some reason. So everyone said they were slow to the party or they were just slow, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot of jokes like that. I remember at one point there was this picture of it was the 3 main browsers for the internet. There was Google Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. And Chrome was this big bully picking on Firefox, who was this kind of cool little kid. And then Internet Explorer was eating glue. Well, someone decided to change those to Team Valor being Chrome, Mystic being Firefox, and Instinct being the kid eating glue. And I think that kind of just kept going. And it was just yeah, they're stupid. So it's like been really funny. Sometimes I forget that there's a yellow team, I'm not going to lie. But everything that spawned from that has just been amazing because it just starts like flame wars with friends that aren't even meant to be mean. It's just like fuck you, and
That's just good fun, basically.
oh, it's truly just really good fun. But I call it gang warfare because it's like you're picking a side and then just hating everything about the other side with no logical reasoning whatsoever.
Oh yeah. Now,
And it's amazing.
The question here. What team are you?
Oh, I'm Team Valor.
All right, there you go.
And that's going to upset a lot of people. Most of my friends are Mystic. Got a couple of friends who are on Instinct, but I have like 2 or 3 friends that are on Valor. I would have picked Instinct because Zapdos is my favorite bird of the 3, but Valor Team Red. I like Red Team. I like Red in general. So I was yeah, that's my team.
You're biased in that decision.
You're right. But you should be biased. The team has 0 effect on your experience in the game. I shit you not. It is just preference, and that's what makes it so great. Like, you literally just pick a team, and then that's it. You get to attack gyms and stuff. And you hold gyms. That's what the teams are for.
See, I'd probably go with, it's Team Mystic that's blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably go with them because I favor blue. I love that color, so...
I pictured you as a blue team.
Well, you know me, too, so... It's not
That's
fair.
also true. So, yeah.
Fight me, bro. Come on.
I was putting my fist up. I forget that you can't see that sometimes. Anyways, if you guys want to, if anyone is near me, I mean, if you know where I'm at and want to go out Pokemon going, I'll absolutely do it. I'm actually probably going to be doing that tonight. To be 100% truthful with you, I think 7 o'clock rolls around Eastern time. I'm going to be out catching Pokemon and then getting beers at 8, but it's not the point. Next weekend, after the podcast, there is a pub crawl in our Oregon district downtown.
My god.
Was organized by PokemonGO people. So there's going to be like hundreds of people just crawling around on the pubs, catching Pokemon all on this strip. This like one road, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, man.
And the only other thing I'm going to say, and we'll move on to other stories, is that there was this picture that I saw within like the first week of the game of somewhere in Australia. I forget the name of it, but it was basically... It was like, I decided to come down here tonight. Holy shit. There was 6 or 7 Pokestops over the course of 3 blocks, I'd say. And they were all lured. And someone took a picture, and it was literally just, so you know how, like, just imagine a sidewalk full of people just sitting down on their phones and talking and playing this game. For 3 blocks.
Wow.
Just amazing. And it just speaks to how this game is bringing everybody together. And this isn't even like we don't even have a main story to talk to you guys about today. I'm not gonna lie. We just have groups of stories kind of to follow up with what we talked about in last podcast. But I could talk for hours about this game because of how great it is in general. And if you know anybody who for some reason dislikes this game for whatever purpose, please refer them to me because I have colorful words that I like to use. Don't worry, I won't attack them. I'll just make sure that they understand they're dumb because there's no reason to hate this game. Also, that
Unless
being
they're on
said,
Team Instinct, and then
yeah, unless you're on Team Instinct or Mystic, fuck off. But
Alright.
if you're on Team, no, but if basically, so I follow Philip DeFranco, and I want to say I agree with him 100% on what he said. If you're one of the people that makes fun of it, quit making fun of it. There's no point. There's no reason whatsoever to be making fun of this game beyond the fact that you just don't understand it. And a lot of the people are just like going on Facebook like, "Oh, I have a job." It's like actually a lot of us have a job. I have a job, and I'm going out and playing this game when I can. Big fucking whoop. You're just upset for some reason. I don't know why I stop it. But the other thing is people who are actually playing the game, make sure you're responsible. We showed this article last week, or last podcast, that was, it wasn't true, but I said, and I quote, I don't know if I quote this exactly, but I said, something like this will happen. And essentially it was like a guy walked onto a highway and got a pile up because he wanted to catch a Pikachu. It was fake. But since that article, there have been a couple of there's been a lot of different stories around it where it's been like people were using lures to rob people. There was these two guys who snuck into an area they really shouldn't have been in and fell off a cliff trying to get a Charmander or something like that. Like
Charmander's not worth it.
Yeah, be smart is all I'm saying. Basically, you got to respect the people around you. Don't, when the game loads up, it says be aware of your surroundings. It legitimately means that. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't fall off a cliff. Don't go running out in the middle of the road. Don't. You just be smart. Look up for 5 seconds. Look at your surroundings. Figure out if you can cross the road, then go. Typically, that Pokemon is not going anywhere. And even if it does, you still got plenty of time to get it.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's where I'll end that. Just be smart when you're playing the game. The game is amazing. There's no reason to hate it. If you are hating it because some idiot walked out in the middle of the road, don't hate the game. Hate the guy. It's the guy's fault. So that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, there was another story of a guy. He sideswiped a police car because he was looking at his phone while driving and playing the game. So don't drive in Pokemon Go. It can wait. It really can. If you have a passenger, let the passenger play the game, which is actually a really popular thing, by the way. If you get a friend in the car, just have them catch your Pokemon while you drive. I've seen lots of pictures of people doing it 2 games at once. But anyways, just be smart. That's the best way to put it. Just don't be stupid. But I said it. Last time we were on this podcast, I said something stupid's going to happen by then. Granted, that was easy to predict, but still, like a few things have happened. And
oh yeah.
Come on, guys. Come on. Okay, that being said, let's move on to some other stuff. We got a few more things I want to talk about before we run out of time here. We spent, like 30 minutes on this already? Well, we're at 30 minutes, so.
I think it was 15 minutes easily on Pokemon Go.
But, I mean, it's hard not to talk about it.
It is, so.
All right, so I'll let you talk now, Grunt. Destiny. There's some stuff happening, basically.
Yeah, there's a little thing called the Rise of Iron expansion coming out, still slated for September 20th.
Well, we're getting information, aren't we?
Breadcrumb by breadcrumb, they're feeding it to us.
Right, but that's still enough of a breadcrumb to hold it up to the camera and say, look at this breadcrumb.
I mean, I totally just pictured you holding up a breadcrumb, even though you probably didn't.
I mean, I did the exact hand gesture you just did without a breadcrumb in it. Could have done with like a bottle cap. I have a bottle cap in hand. Where do I find this random shit that I'm just playing with when I'm talking on here?
It's actually for my microphone, so yeah.
Microfiber cloth. Hold on, guys. 100 card sleeves. That's like 600 magic cards. I can't lift that on the screen. Continue with Bungie. We're just gonna like.
We're already getting sidetracked. But anyways, this past Wednesday, right? It was Wednesday. Yeah, it was this past Wednesday.
I think so.
Yeah, 20th. They took us through a brief tour of how the Cosmodrome will look once Rise of Iron comes out. If you're an avid player like I am with Destiny, or even if you've spent enough time to where you can picture the Patrol the Cosmodrome prompt on your game screen, you know exactly what the Cosmodrome looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Once Rise of Iron comes out, they are opening up a few extra spaces inside that area. And a lot of the general looks of it is going to change to reflect the new Siva taking over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like if you go into, there will be part of the wall that you walk through during the start of the game, and you can even go back there and patrol, but not. There's really nothing much to do there.
Mm-hmm.
They're opening part of that up so you can go through it a little more. It's also going to be snowing
That'll be cool.
because snow, Disappointed by the distinct lack of winter is coming jokes made, but they are
Oh,
professionals.
I'm sure they will in time.
They
I'm
well,
sure.
they said winter is here, so it's a slight.
Well, yeah, if they said winter is coming, they'd probably be.
They're professionals.
some
They know what
issues.
they're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
But outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot showed off. Just they're going to be changing the way the Cosmodrome looks in acknowledgement, I guess you could say, in reflection of how the rest of the game will be changing when Rise of Iron comes out. Our next look will be in August, I think it is, Gamescom.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's in Cologne, Germany, I think. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cologne.
Yeah. However you actually pronounce it.
It's Cologne. I'm 99% sure.
They probably say it totally different, but
Oh, yeah, because it's probably not Cologne. It's probably like. I don't even know, but I know Paris isn't Paris in French. It's Paris. It's Paris, so I mean.
so it's different. But we're American.
We're American.
Anyways, they'll be at Gamescom. They'll be showing off some new Crucible maps, modes, and well, they've teased it before as modes, plural, but on the stream they said singular mode. So I'll leave that up to your interpretation.
Do you think it's going to be like a new mode uh, like, like capture the flag type mode, or do you think custom games?
I think it's going to be. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I think it's going to be more so something like how with Taken King they introduced Rift. I think it was. They introduced.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But it's going to be like an actual game type, not a brand new game mode. But they did say that they'll also be showing off new Crucible features, so there's still a hope if you are one of those that is holding on for the dear chance of getting custom games.
They got to keep like everything on lock there, just so they don't accidentally let it slip if that's really what it is, because then like
Yes.
the community would lose their fucking minds.
Oh, they will. You know they will. You know they will. You'll have people that claim the game dead like 2 years ago coming back.
Oh yeah, I mean the custom games is what made Halo thrive in the first place. So I mean, I would imagine the moment
It'd be
that
very
comes into
nice
the
to
game,
have this because you get a new weapon. Maybe
you can
wanna
actually
see
test
how
it.
does. Yeah. Instead of just going and suffering in the Crucible for a couple hours, to see how the weapon works, only for you to dismantle it in 10 seconds.
Definitely.
You could go into a custom game and get an immediate feel of how that is.
Yeah, that's
Maybe you
valuable.
Oh yeah, maybe you want to play Mayhem Clash with a few friends or something different. So it's gonna be.
I mean, maybe you want to do 2v2s for some reason, and you don't want to wait for the featured playlist to roll around. Exactly.
Even that. That'd be
So
great.
if they don't add it, that'd probably be the biggest miscalculation on their end that I could imagine. Honestly, one of the biggest miscalculations in a while,
Yeah, I'm
in my opinion.
thinking whatever it is that they will define as features is going to be something huge. It's going to just blow people's mind in general.
Yeah.
Also, if you pre-order it, you get a fancy Gallahorn themed Sparrow too.
I was really hoping you said that. It has been on screen right now, and you haven't noticed it because we don't watch the stream. You can't see it, so it's literally been sitting behind your head this whole time, and I've just been waiting for you to say something.
Well, that image,
It looks really
From-
cool.
from what they said on the stream, it sounds like you'll get the Gallahorn and the Galar Wing. It's the white and gold version, or is it blue and yellow?
I think it looks purple. Not gonna lie.
purple. Thank
No,
you
it
for
really
giving-
does. There's silver, and then it's streaking purple, and the front has like a very slight purple tint to it.
Right. Well, the pre-order bonus is the Iron Galderwing, so it's the black and like silver themed version of the Galahorn. Only they're doing that. From my understanding and the way I interpreted it from when Deej said it on stream, you'll get a white and gold Galahorn and Galderwing when you complete the quest to get your Galahorn. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, basically, instead of getting the normal version of it, if you pre-ordered it, you'll get the black and silver version of both the Galahorn and the Galderwing.
Gotcha.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it does. All right, well, cool. Sounds pretty sweet, in my opinion. Looks really cool, too, so
Oh, yeah.
super stoked about that, I think. Okay, slowing down here. Well, not slowing down, we're just running out of time. We got, I think, three more things I technically want to talk about. Let's briefly go over this story you linked me. I don't know how to describe this.
It's great.
I'm just gonna. I want to preface this with a trigger warning. There's some pretty bad language in this. I know I've kind of dropped the F-bomb a few times, but this actually gets pretty. This guy's facing 5 years for death threats sent to Blizzard players. Blizzard, players is what this actually says. But basically, this dude, what was his name? Steven Kebula, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
He said some stuff, man.
Some really bad stuff that you should probably not say on the internet.
Yeah, don't say any of this ever. I'm going to say it, but I'm reading what he is saying. I don't mean this in any manner, just so you know. But anyways, he said, and I quote, there's like 4 quotes here. I will bomb the New York Twin Towers. That seems reasonable. Go back to cotton picking. That's racist. You make me want to shoot up an elementary school. That's just fucked up. He also threatened to rape and kill the children of his opponents. Man, this guy's a champ. Here's another one.
Charming.
He sounds like a great guy at parties. I kid you not. Like, I want to be drinking booze with this guy. He says, I may or may not pay you a visit with an AK-47 amongst some other fun tools. And I think the kicker is the name of his Facebook page.
Oh, God.
This made me laugh so hard when I read it. This is so demented. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to laugh at anybody who had to deal with this. But seriously, he said his Facebook page was Ted Bundy is my God 1.
I wonder if Ted Bundy is my God was just taken by someone else.
That's even worse if someone took the page. But Ted Bundy is my... That is so fucked up. Oh, yeah. He just was a sociopath, to put it lightly. Oh, man. Anyways,
I've seen stuff way worse than that, though.
Yeah, that's what sucks, man. This just reminds me of, like, some people literally just have no filter. No one, they just don't give a fuck. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you saw what happened with the Leslie, what's her name? I don't remember her last name, from Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters movie. Did you see what happened with her at all?
Parts of it. Basically, she ended up getting harassed on Twitter, is what I gathered.
Yeah, she had to quit Twitter because these people were tweeting Photoshop pictures of her own account saying very racist things. And she was, like, calling them out, and then she just, like, left because everyone started using really backwater, like, racist words at her, and it was really bad. Yeah. And then they found one guy who... They banned one guy who was, like, a very free speech advocate on Twitter who's like, you shouldn't censor anything people say. They banned him because of his interaction with her, which... If you only look at the interaction, I don't actually think they should have banned him, because it wasn't like he was sending death threats or anything. He just was kind of like... It was almost just like they were just having an argument back and forth, to be honest. But because I think of his history in kind of inciting things like this, and it was his followers who kind of tweeted at her like this, he got banned. I forget his actual name.
I think I know who you're talking about. It made huge news because the guy is just, like, set off by anything.
Yeah, it's basically, and this actually delves into something like Gamergate, where people are like, we don't need to be censored for expressing our opinions, and it's just like, my stance on this is very firm. Yes, we have free speech on the internet, but that doesn't mean you can just say whatever you want.
It's like going over to a friend's house and, you know, yeah, they give you the keys to get in the house, they're away for the weekend, but it's not yours. You know,
Yeah. That's a very good
you
example.
can't do
Like,
whatever you want.
Like
You
if
know?
my neighbor gives me her keys and says just watch my dogs, you can chill and do whatever until I get back. That doesn't mean I should go panty raiding. There's certain things you don't do even if you're given the permission because
Man, I was thinking more so the typical. You have a free open house. Throw
well
a party.
that too. Even
Just
that.
you went straight to panty rating. It's like, wow.
My bad. I mean, your example is good too. Just don't throw a party in your friend's house while they're gone when they say watch their dogs. So I don't know. Very different descriptions of what it is, but essentially, free speech on the internet. Yes, you can say what you want, but there's a very good XKCD comic that most of the advocates for free speech say it's a bullshit comic, but the comic essentially says the right to free speech means the government can't dictate what you say, but that doesn't mean we have to listen to you. If we think you're an asshole, we won't talk to you. And that's how it kind of is. And where everyone's kind of jumping on board of free speech or anti-free speech or whatever you want to, whatever platform it is, it's essentially Twitter is telling you that you can and can't say certain things. So they feel that they're being restricted in free speech.
Yeah,
and it also, sorry, go ahead.
And this is huge news, anyways, because Twitter normally doesn't do anything when it comes to harassment.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They were like, we acknowledge that we barely do anything, and a lot of people. There are some people who are saying, it's like, why do we have to criticize them for not doing anything if they're finally starting to? Like, it's hard to criticize them when they have. Well, it's easy to criticize them; they haven't done anything about it. But if they're going to start doing it, we can't just get mad at the first person they do it to because they got to start somewhere. There's some arguments for it. Yeah. And I honestly get both sides, but I personally think if you're going to sit there and just say very rude, ignorant shit, you shouldn't be allowed to say certain things like that. There's certain things that are just hate speech, and you shouldn't. That's not right to say. But that's where the gray line is. It's like, what can we allow them to say? What can we not allow them to say?
Oh yeah. You have no rights. Play nice.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard that somewhere before.
I don't remember where. I know. I've heard it as well.
It's thrown around Bungie.net quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but if you go read like their terms of service or code of conduct.
One thing about this, and then I'll move on to our last two things here. There was the Vlog Brothers, so John and Hank Green. They had a video, and I think it was, I don't remember which one it was who was doing the video, but it was one of their most recent ones where they talk about, it's kind of in similarity to where it's like free speech on the internet, but they basically say the internet has allowed us to be hate-filled in a lot of different ways, because we can kind of just, we share the things that make us the most mad typically compared to like things we really enjoy. There's a reason the news plays a lot of really bad stories instead of, look at this uplifting story about this puppy or something like that. But they're just like, it's our responsibility to create healthy environments and communities that just allow people to be who they are and not, just cause all this hatred that someone like, one of our current presidential candidates would be causing. So to that I say, that is how we should define what our quote-unquote free speech on the internet is. In the simplest way. Also, Grunt is very crappy quality right now. So if he starts talking and it sounds like he's in a boom tube, I'm sorry.
Oh, why?
Oh, you're fine now. It was like the quality crapped out for a minute while I was talking, but I didn't want to say anything. And then he started to talk, and I was like, oh, it sounds bad.
Well.
Okay, two more things. Follow-up story from last time. Don't have an article for it because I didn't feel like looking for one. Counter-Strike. We talked about the gambling stuff that was happening and how, developer liability, does it reach out to the people and what they're doing. Well, Valve just was like, Valve was just like, well, we're going to just go ahead and tell them to stop. So they sent cease and desist letters to pretty much anyone involved with those gambling sites. And it looks like they're basically done unless they want to fight Valve in the court of law, which sounds like an awful time.
Valve's lawyers are studying. They know it well.
It's basically, the cease and desist said they're violating their terms of service, which says you can't use your account for commercial use. So that's where they're kind of like pulling from.
And unless they recently changed that, that's the only loophole they could get through that.
Yeah,
so.
I know they did just change some stuff, but I don't know if it was in response to that. I don't truly remember. It was just in a video I watched, but beyond that, it just seems like every one of the sites that was involved in doing stuff like this was apparently really freaking sketchy. So none of the sites existed to be communities to do these things as much as they existed to be someone blatantly abusing it.
Right.
Like the big ones, I don't remember their names, but it was CS:GO Lotto. They were like promoting it as if they had just found it, even though they owned it. So it was already just like, go give your stuff to the site, and then we get cuts of the profit. And also, I gamble on it. It's like, well, you have insider info and stuff like that. So
You know how it works. It's not fair. It's cheating.
yeah. Not all of them were like that, I don't think. In terms of just exactly the same, but I think that there was a lot of sketchiness that happened.
Yeah, weren't the biggest names, probably just because they're large or well known, people wasn't like T Martin Pro Syndicate?
Yep, those were the two in CS:GO Lotto.
Yeah. So
but there were other sites. I think there was 2 or 3 more that had other people involved, and it seems like they were probably maybe not as sketchy, or maybe more or less. I don't truly remember, but I know it sounded like that they were also just very not forthcoming with the appropriate information to the people they were presenting it to. So that was definitely a problem.
I think it's good for Valve. They covered themselves for.
Yeah, they don't just let it keep happening like, oh, whatever. They just kind of were like, stop doing this. It's violating the terms of service we now have. This was already causing issues, so stop.
Yep.
Smart move by them, I'd agree.
Yep.
So, last thing I'm going to mention, this is really just a general thing. San Diego Comic-Con's happening right now. A lot of different stuff's coming out of it, different things related to more just typical nerd stuff than it is like video games like we tend to talk about. I know I'm excited to see some of the cool stuff. The Batman Telltale game trailer got released. That was freaking sweet. I just watched it literally before this podcast. It was pretty cool. I'd recommend that.
I need to watch it.
I know Walking Dead Season 7 got announced. Like the date or something like that?
Yep. October 23rd.
Ooh.
I'm excited for it.
A lot of the new Marvel Netflix shows got teaser trailers, and those were freaking sweet. Among them were The Defenders, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, all of which are really freaking cool trailers. Very cryptic beyond the Luke Cage one. The Luke Cage one's just great. I would recommend watching that even if you don't know anything about Luke Cage or the TV shows that he's been a part of so far, or TV show.
Isn't that show of his a new one?
Yeah.
Iron Fist, I think you said it was.
Iron Fist is how it works in the comic books. Let's go over to Marvel and Daredevil. Daredevil is on Netflix. That was the start of it all, and that was really good. And then they're like, we should probably keep doing this. So they decided that every 6 months they're going to release a new character essentially, or they're going to do a new season of something. And it might be different now, but this is what it was initially. So they came out with Jessica Jones, which was a lot different compared to your typical comic book movies or TV shows or whatever. And then they announced they were going to do Iron Fist and Luke Cage after they did Daredevil Season 2. Luke Cage was in Jessica Jones. Spoilers. That doesn't really spoil anything beyond the fact that he's there, which in the comics he was there. Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, all are very intertwined in the comics.
Right.
All in Hell's Kitchen. So I know barely anything about Iron Fist, and his trailer was very cryptic. So I didn't. I was just like, this looks cool, but I don't know anything about this. So yeah, those are going to be new shows. It's just Luke Cage has already been in something, and Iron Fist has not. I don't even think he's been mentioned yet. So right. He's pretty new to it all as well. And then the Defenders, I'm pretty sure it's all 4 of them together, essentially like the Avengers, but the Defenders.
That's cool.
If I'm not mistaken. So that all looks really freaking sweet. Yeah, go check out the Luke Cage trailer. It's great.
Yeah, might have to.
Yeah, definitely do that. And then other random things have been happening, and I'm kind of just following it. My favorite show in the world, Arrow, has had some interesting panel information come out that I'm mixed feelings about. So that's happening.
Do I hear another rant about Arrow coming soon?
I mean, if what I've seen is true, I could rant even more about how the writers are just stupid, but it would get nowhere at this point because one of the writers changed his Twitter bio to said, I am loved by Reddit, which was just him trolling the people on Reddit who hate his writing. So clearly he doesn't care.
Wow.
And I think the best comment I seen, someone posted a screenshot and said, looks like he definitely understands where we're coming from. And the top comment was just like, man, I wish he was as good at writing as he was at trolling. I was like, oh shit. Man. I was like, damn, shots fired. That was good. So
that wasn't shots fired. That was shots fired and hit. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. There's just a response of a GIF, and it was a guy just saying brutal. So, yep, that's what happens. So, It's a sinking ship. And that's what they get for shipping. If you understood that, we
Ah,
can talk
that's
on
what you
Twitter.
did there.
All right. I think that covers just about everything. I'll probably tweet more about Comic-Con at some point. Do you have anything else to add before I tell them where they can listen to my tweets and your tweets?
Not
I
really.
guess not listen, but...
Not really. Nope.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do our self-promotion / advertising, whatever you want to call it. You can find us on Twitter. I'm... What?
Self-advertising.
Self-advertising. We'll mix them together. Find us on Twitter. I'm at FranticJ3. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX. It's all one word. If you want to find the official Frantic Talks Twitter account, where we'll just only tweet really about very relative things to what we're talking about, like podcast articles and then sometimes third-party articles, like I did share last week, because it tied a lot into what we were talking about. It's at Frantic_Talks. If you want to read what we just normally write about or check out like all our podcasts and stuff, FranticTalks.com is the mothership. There's also magic.frantictalks.com where we do Magic the Gathering stuff, which has been a little slow. I haven't gotten a chance to edit one of my latest podcasts from there. Like I said, July was busy. Either way, keep an eye out for stuff from there because there's an article that's been written that I haven't posted yet. Podcast, I gotta get it. It's pretty great how much stuff is actually there and it hasn't been posted. Anyways, Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all in one word. You can find us basically the same thing we do on Twitter, just not as limited, but also not nearly as much because Twitter is easier. Either way, we're on
more than I do Facebook anymore. So
yeah, I'm kind of on the same level, unless I'm trying to engage in really in-depth stuff because Twitter only lets you have a couple characters. So
140 couple.
if you want to watch the video version of this podcast, it's on YouTube. I still don't have an official link. We need 100 subscribers. I'll keep pushing that. Hopefully by the 100th episode we have 100 subscribers. That'd be pretty cool. You can make it happen. Just don't make it take that long. That's a long time from now.
We'll get there.
It's like a year and a half.
We'll get there.
I don't want to do that.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Just search Frantic Talks. You should be able to find us. There's a whole channel and everything. It's a bunch of random numbers, so I'm not going to spit them out to you. Because I still haven't memorized them. Although I said I would.
You should get on that.
Other than that, iTunes, you can find the audio version of this podcast along with the other podcast I post called Frantic Works, where I drive to work and talk about magic. Just search Frantic Talks on the iTunes directory. You should find us. If not, I put a badge that says subscribe to us on iTunes on the Frantic Talks site on every podcast, so you can click that if you don't feel like searching on your phone. And other than that, you can technically find us on SoundCloud, because that's where I upload all the podcasts, but it's easier if you just go to the site. I think that was everything.
That covers it.
Covers it all. All right, guys. Well, like I said, we'll have an episode next week, but after that, we'll have a week off one more time, and then we should be back on schedule for a couple of times to come. And I do realize that once we hit episode 52, it technically will have been longer than a year, so I'll have to go back and figure out how many weeks we've skipped so we can actually do a real 1-year anniversary.
Oh, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, so...
Have fun doing all that figuring.
Well, it's not too terribly hard, I don't think, but I'm pretty sure we skipped 2 or 3 weeks. Somewhere around that. So episode 49 or 50 will be our 1 year, which we're getting close to. Because this is 33. Ooh. All right, guys. Hope you guys have an awesome week. Hit us up on Twitter if you got anything fun to talk about. If you want to learn more about Pokemon, just in general, I am your go-to resource. I know way too much about that game. Anyways.
No such thing.
No such thing. All right. I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
We'll see you guys next time.